How's it going, guys? Mr. Stevenson here again. And we are going to talk about our haunted house. Talk about the drawing, think about what we're going to be working on, what we're going to be doing, expectations. So when it comes to the next step in this haunted house, we're going to be coloring. So if you complete it the way I was talking about, and we went around in marker, the next step is coloring in. In one surefire way to tell what's going on with somebody that doesn't really care about their project is they just color in like that. It's not bad, but when this black marker is really bold, we need to think about what's going on with our coloring and how it connects to our coloring. One simple way to fix that is make our lines really dark around the marker. And that's going to give us a kind of effect of the marker blending into the picture itself. So it's not like here's the picture, here's the marker. So then we can kind of blend from this dark, dark black into our lighter areas. So I like to go around and do my window shades. And then I'll actually go back in and shade the window. So it's not just a Sharpie black outline around my window. It's dark outside, so maybe there's a little bit of light coming out of these windows. That's another thing. When we're working, especially with colored pencil, we can kind of think about blending and using multiple colors. Even if we decided we were going to trace our tree all black and make it kind of look like the night, we can go back in and put brown over it, and it will change that tone to a nice warm tone. Another thing that we could think about doing is kind of shingles on our roof. So we don't have to necessarily go in with Sharpie and do that, but we can go in and do that with our colored pencil by going around and making really dark marks. Note I'm not just drawing a line straight across. I'm actually making these look like individual shingles, because a lot of times on a haunted house it'll be uneven, kind of falling apart almost. So we'll go in and make these darker marks. And that way when I go back in and shade, we have some variation in our value. It goes from a dark area around the shingle to a light area. And once again, we can shade a little darker around our Sharpie. Make it kind of not jump off the page as much. And that's not something that needs to be exact. We can just kind of roll with it. Next thing we could think about is our house. What kind of a haunted house is this going to be? Is this going to be one that's all one color? It's going to be one that's kind of decrepit? We're going to give it the sense of like a brick house. Maybe it could be something where it's old wooden shingles, like wooden siding. Go back in. find out that's not giving us quite enough. Once again, going back around where our marker is. Maybe that's not giving us enough variation. Maybe we want to add a second color. Maybe just a tad of orange only on the line and just above the line. Kind of nice. What else could we think about? We can think about using white. When we add white to a color, remember that's called a tint. When we add our black to a color, that's called a shade. So maybe we want to make this into a shade. And note, with your pencil, it shouldn't always be an on-off thing. It shouldn't be making a mark or not making a mark. We can make a light mark, we can make a dark mark. We can make all sorts of different marks with our pencils. And that's part of what we're trying to learn here is how to make different kind of marks with our pencils. So play around with your shingles. We can think about, here we made one that was kind of a light with a little bit of yellow to it. Can maybe just think about our glass and our window panes and how that light comes out. Maybe we're using that lighter blue and then around that edge is a darker blue. Our gravestone, maybe we have a basic set from Crayola like we have here at school and we don't have a black, or we don't have a gray, I should say, where we need to lay down a white tone. And then black is white, or sorry, gray is white and black together. So the way we could make our gray is using white colored pencil, which you wouldn't think would do anything because the paper's already white, but it does. And that can give us a nice gray. And I understand you guys aren't going to have big sheets of paper, which is why I'm doing the demonstration using a couple sheets of regular paper just glued together, same as you guys have. See, it's not that we have to erase our pencil strokes, but we need to be conscious of them. So think about the striation of like a piece of marble or something, like the grain on it goes up and down, depending on where it came out of the earth. So maybe we want to kind of recreate that with a piece of wood, or recreate it like here with a gravestone. Here with our pumpkin, we can think about the same things that we thought about earlier. With our Daily Doodle pumpkin, we can go dark, dark, dark for our face on this jack-o'-lantern. Maybe you want to use yellow to make it like a lit up pumpkin. I'm going to make mine dark. Those cross contour lines can make very dark, dark, dark. And then we can go back in. And we can just lighter. And if we forget to trace something, we can always go back with a marker and add it in. So this project is not something that should take 5 or 10 minutes, guys. This is the project that should take a decent amount of time. Like I said, the kids in class have worked on it for now 3 class periods. So think about what is 3 class periods. 3 times 40 is 120 minutes, about 2 hours. So you guys should take roughly 2 hours for this project. If it takes a little longer, that's fine. I mean, that's good. If you are making a project that you really like and it ends up taking 4 hours, so be it. Like, that's fine by me. I really would like you guys to have fun with this. See where you can take it. And I will do some sporadic updates of the haunted houses that I'm working on. And I will send them to you. And I'm working on a couple different ones. I did this project with a few different grades here at school, and I just like the haunted house as an introduction to doing architecture, a house, but also an introduction to doing landscape. We have a landscape over here. We have a horizon. Also to finally getting these colored pencils in our hands and working with them. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. You guys can email me all the time. If you want help, if you want some recommendations for what to do next on your project or how to color something, just ask me, because I'm your teacher and I'm here to help you. I really want you guys more involved. You virtual learners, I want to help you so much, but for me to help you, you have to ask questions. So reach out, ask me some questions, work on your project. I can't wait to see what you guys are doing. Spend your time. Remember what we said. Craftsmanship. We have to have good craftsmanship. We cannot just take our colored pencil and color like that. That's not what we're doing here. We are hard workers. We're working at home. Just because we're working at home doesn't mean we can't work the same way that we'd work in school. Slowly, methodically. We're shading nicely. We're looking and seeing and thinking about where our pencil marks are. So don't do this, guys. No. I want to see better. Let's see what you guys have.